there, I'm Sandy Allnock, and today I have a Copic tutorial showing you how to make leather flowers out of paper and airbrush and Copic markers. Oh my gosh, so very much fun. I used the flower board to do these, and the directions are on it. There's a little chart that shows you exactly what size papers you need. The little tools that you need all stay within this. Christina did a really fabulous tutorial that I'm going to link you to right over here on the left, and if you would like to go see that full thing, please do so, because I'm not going to get into the total details of this flower board, except to tell you that you make a couple scores and a couple punches for each petal. This one is going to be one of the really big ones, so I line it up with the board and the marks that it gives, and I do a vertical and a angled score and a punch, so it just makes these flowers. This particular flower is going to need 2 of these pieces so that we'll have a long enough strip. So instead of making you have one giant strip, you can do it in parts. I airbrushed each one of the pieces that I punched. I'm airbrushing with B99. I thought that was going to be the color that I wanted them to be, but it turned out that I am going to add a whole lot of layers of other colors. I didn't actually have leather in mind when I did this, but once I started seeing some things and how the color came together, that's what I decided to aim for. So I'm using E89. I know E89 is kind of a greenish brown, but it's going to add a real rustic color to this. So I'm just adding a layer around the edges of the petals, and then I'm adding some B37 to brighten up the color because it started looking really dull. The little triangle portions are going to be covered up with adhesive when the flower comes together, so I'm not worrying about spraying color in there. Each of the petals has piercing around it, and I'm using the Tim Holtz piercer, and I think I call it the pokey tool sometimes, but I think it's actually called a craft pick technically. And I'm using the basil piercing mat. I love how thick this piercing mat is. It works a lot better than what I used to use, which was foam, and it just goes all the way through because it's so thick, and it fits perfectly in my craft bag. I'm using one of the tools from the flower board, and you can use any tool or bone folder or anything to make the flower petals rounded, and I'm just rubbing on them on the piercing mat, and I'm doing it right up to where the piercing is. And when I turn this over, you're going to see that it makes it both rounded and gives it kind of a leather texture. How cool is that? So to assemble the flower, all I have to do is put my adhesive, I'm using Tombow Stamp Runner, in those little sections, and I'm putting them in the little triangles, and then I just fold it over each little piece. Now I'm going to add some glossy accents tucked inside of each one of those before I finish the flower to make sure it stays together really well, because this is a big heavy flower. But I'm gluing both pieces together now, so you can do really giant flowers and have all kinds of pieces that you add together. The packaging comes with all kinds of directions for different kinds of projects that you can do and different ways to achieve different flower sizes and different dimension levels and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to use these Tombow Power Tabs, one of my favorite super sticky adhesives, to stick on this little flower that I made, because I made a red one as well, and I had embellished that one with a star. So I'm putting the power tabs on there. I want to put a lot of it on because I just want it to really stick super well, because this is going to be outside at a picnic and I don't want it to come apart. And these things are really not going to come apart anywhere. Just going to line it up in the center, and I have this beautiful layered flower that I can then put on my picnic basket. I made a couple other flowers as well, and I'm adding them to the basket just to add something really fun and crazy to the table for my picnic. Happy 4th of July. Go make something crafty for your picnic table. Bye now.